Hi guys, Happy New Year! I thought today would be the perfect time to give you my top 5 tips if you are starting decluttering or starting a minimalist lifestyle. I get lots of questions about where should I start, and so here are my top 5 tips for getting started. My first tip is, and I still practice this every time I'm decluttering, is to set a boundary. So for example, if you're decluttering something and you've got a cupboard or a box or a chest or a drawer, that you just say, okay, well, I can keep as much as I want as long as it fits in this drawer, in this cupboard, in this toy box. That is, for me, the best way to keep things manageable, and it also lets you know when you need to look at it again. So if you've gone through it, that cupboard's getting really full and unusable again, you know, hey, it's time to go through this again because we probably have too much Tupperware food in our pantry because it's not fitting within this boundary that we've set. So my second tip is to allow yourself what I call a maybe pile, or a maybe box, or anything you want to call it, but basically it's saying to yourself, I don't know whether I'm ready to declutter this stuff yet, but maybe I might still need it. And that still happens, particularly if you've got some sort of hobby that has a lot of things like a craft or something like that, that you might have things that you think you're going to do but you're not sure. So what I would suggest is you collect like a box that you put in those things or those toys that you're not sure about and put it away, and then say to yourself, set a time limit. If I haven't used this, or if the kids don't request anything out of this box for 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, then all of these things I'm actually ready to donate. That is a fantastic way of allowing yourself some grace that you might want to keep on hold on to it, but also knowing that if you don't use it, you have gone through it and you're ready to let it go. Another way you can use this same principle is by turning all your coat hangers backwards in your cupboard. Now is the perfect time to do that, being the beginning of the year. Turn them all backwards, and whatever you don't use, you know that you're not wearing it and it can go. And you can give yourself like a season, okay, till the end of summer, the end of winter. If I haven't worn it by then, I know that these winter clothes I'm obviously not wearing. So that is a fantastic way of being able to rotate your wardrobe. You can actually do the same thing with folded clothes in a drawer by moving everything to the left side of the drawer, and then as you use it, put it back on the right side, and then whatever's left on the left hand side at the end of the year, you know, is things that you haven't used. So that is a great tip, and it's especially good even for me who's been at this minimalist game for like 8 years now, that I've got these constant little reminders of checking that things have been done or haven't been done. My third tip is about finding your own set of questions when you're decluttering. So for me, I asked, this was actually one of my mum's sayings, which was, is it beautiful, useful, or seriously sentimental? Then keep it, if the answer is yes. If the answer is no, you know it's ready to go. And then after that, if you want to get a little bit deeper, some of the questions that I use for myself are things like, if I get rid of this, could I replace it for under $20? This was great for my husband. He has a lot of cables, things that we've bought over the years technology wise, and he wasn't sure if maybe that we might buy something else and it would be handy to have a spare. So any cables that he had that we could replace for under $20, we got rid of. And I think we've replaced one of the huge 3 boxes of cables we got rid of when we went through his office. We've replaced one and it was fine. We got a really good quality one for under $20. And the same could be said for like things, particularly in your kitchen. I find, you know, maybe you have a special, you know, utensil or something that you use just for one job. If you've got, you know, if you can replace it for very cheaply, then you won't be worried about letting it go. In saying that, there's always the opportunity to borrow from your friends and family if you do need something for a once off. I have no problems asking my friends and family to borrow something if I just need it for one night. Often they're my guest coming anyway. Hey, if you're coming, would you mind bringing a large platter so that we can put some of the extra things out on? And that that way everyone's winning. We all don't have to keep everything, and we're keeping it really minimal. My fourth tip for you is to have a goal in mind for what you would like the space to look like, how you would like to use it before you get started decluttering, particularly at the start. So for me, I'll often think about what I want a space to do before I start decluttering it, what sort of things I want to keep there, do I need to make rooms for things that are somewhere else in my house? Start a Pinterest board of things that inspire you, whether it be, if your taste is minimal, pin minimalist pictures of clean, clear spaces. But if you do prefer a more abundant look, that's fine too. You can still use these principles. Just, you know, pick pictures of things that are less cluttered or really organized, that are going to inspire you to let these things go. Because if hanging on to that thing doesn't match up with your goal, it's going to be way easier to let it go. Now, my fifth tip, that looked like 10, but it's actually 5. My fifth tip is my absolute favorite for when I start talking to someone about going minimal or decluttering. Hear me very clearly. Do not start with toys. Do not start with sentimental items. Do not start with whatever you would put at the end of this sentence. If you and I were sitting down and we're having a conversation about minimalism and you said to me, I want to be a minimalist, but blah, whatever blah is for you, whether it's books, plants, clothes, hair products, whatever that blah is for you, don't start there. That is obviously things that you treasure and collect, and to be honest, if they are constantly bringing you joy, they should be the last thing you even think about decluttering. But it's all the other stuff we accumulate in our lives that you should focus on first. And then once you're on a snowball and those goals and you're living a simplistic life that you're enjoying more because you're spending less time cleaning your stuff, then you'll be on a roll. You'll have so much more drive behind you because you know you can do it, and you absolutely can. That you won't be so worried about going through those books and maybe letting go the ones that aren't your absolute favorites anymore, or that you can read online or on your e-reader, or your plants that you know, the ones that you got given that you're just holding on to, those sorts of things. But they are a future self job. They are not for when you're getting started with minimalism and decluttering. If you do start there, that sometimes you can lose your momentum and you can think, I just can't do it. That's going to kill the vibe. And so if you start with things that are really simple, things like broken toys, rubbish, packaging, old boxes, that's going to give you some momentum. Linen that you absolutely hate, stuff from your garage that you haven't looked at for years and years, stuff that you moved from your old house that you never bothered to unpack. That is the stuff that really should be much easier for you, and it's going to give you that momentum into the future. Now, you guys, I know a lot of you out there are going to have some amazing tips, and we have created such an amazing community. So I would love it if you would leave your decluttering motivating tips down below so that we can share with each other. I hope you guys like this video. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. We would love to have you, and I will catch you guys in the next one.